I'm Jack Hunter. I solve business problems with tech. Today's problem that we're going to be working on is how to create funnels for local service businesses. Now, without further ado, let's dive in. First of all, what is a funnel? A funnel is a way to turn attention into predictable clients. So it would have its own steps, starting from nobody knows about you, or maybe they know about you already, but convert them into a paying client, hopefully. Now, if we were to explain it in a drawing, I would show you, it does look like an actual funnel. Oh, just delete this part. This is what it will look like. So it would have the top part, it would have the middle part, and it will have the bottom part. So this top part is often referred as top of funnel, TOF. The middle part goes like middle of funnel. And the bottom part goes for bottom of funnel. At the top part, this stage, most of the people don't know who you are. So this is the part that you would need to have awareness. At the middle of the stage, of the funnel stage, you would have people that are showing you some sort of desire or interest, right? So I would say desire and interest. And the true moneymaker is the bottom of the funnel. That's when people are ready to take action. And this is what pays us. So if you were to do statistics on the general statistics of a funnel, it goes like, only 3% of people are ready to take action, generally speaking, of course. And then you would have around 30% that would be around here. And then you would have 60 to 70% that is going to be on the top of the funnel. Now, it may work very well if you were to keep producing content or trying to target people to make sure that they're aware of what you're offering, and you walk them through stages, which will give you a longer life cycle. But at the end, you would make sure that you have more. You've already built the rapport with those people from top, and you help them discover what you have to offer throughout the process until they are ready to buy. In today's economy, 90% of the people are going to be targeting the bottom of the funnel, just because the return on investment is a lot more predictable, and the attribution when you're trying to track what happens is immediate. So if you're trying to show them something here, right? Let's say this is what you're showing them, and this is supposed to be NI. They see it. And then if they buy here, that's good. You would know your ROI right away. And if they don't, you will still know your ROI because there's no return on investment for this particular thing. And that's why a lot of people are targeting bottom of the funnel. But now that you understand what a funnel is and how it works, the elements of it, the anatomy of it, let's move on to how to set one up for local businesses. A local business, let's say a construction company, for the sake of an example, that is targeting on building like a garage conversion or an ADU. And I did have some experience in this field, therefore I can transparently tell you the details of how it works. In order for someone to trust you, of course, you would have to you would have to show them your work. You would have to convince them that you know what you're talking about. You need to display that you're capable of delivering that, right? All of these things are going to play an important role in convincing someone to buy. But before they buy something, they need to be in a market for it. And I always say, if you're trying to sell a burger dipped in chocolate and covered with flowers, if there's no market for it, no one's going to buy, right? That's why you have to meet them at their demand. In this particular case, in Toronto, because that's where I'm located, a lot of people are interested in building an ADU, additional dwelling unit, in their backyards. And that is a demand that already exists. They're keen on trying to unlock that extra potential from their extra land in their real estate. So there is a huge demand for that. A lot of people are saying, I will build you this, I'll build you that, a generic offer, we are the best construction company, come to us. But if you create your offer in a way that it directly resonates with your target audience, they're going to respond a lot better. So your funnel is going to work a lot better. Now, let's try to define the offer. An offer should be structured in a way where when this person is in this location and they want to get to this location, that's where they want to be. And I'm going to put a smiley face here, and I'm going to put an upset face here. Yeah, this looks nicer. This particular element of what you're doing here is going to be your offer. And how easy it is to achieve that goal, how cheap it is, how fast it is, what's the investment required is going to be the core elements of the quality of your offer, right? In this case, for the market, the construction market that we were talking about, it was the ADUs. So someone wanted to build an ADU on their backyard, but it's either they're not sure of the company's capability, or they're not sure if they can even afford it or not, or if they're not sure if the company is offering a product that is like according to what they're looking. Maybe this particular company is only building apartment buildings, small apartment buildings, like 2-story, 3-story, but all they want is like a small space. So all of that is going to play a role into the offer. Now that we understand the anatomy of an offer, what we did previously was we created an offer that had that had answers for multiple problems that people had. First one was payment. So we offered financing. So what does that do? That eliminates the question of, hey, I don't have that much money right now. I can't pay for this. So can you help me make that happen? Sure. We can offer you financing. Instead of coming up with 120 or 250, whatever the amount is, $1,000 a month for this particular, overall for this particular project, you can actually pay us $1,000 a month for whatever the prolonged period that it's going to be. But at least it was unlocking the ability, and it was unlocking a bigger market segment for people to actually make their dreams happen. The other part that we did, instead of generalizing on the construction offer, we said specific experience. So we are not just a construction company that will build you anything. We are a construction company that would help you build the ADU that you're looking to build. That would distinguish ourselves from the competition immediately. So that worked very well. And now, let's put these basic offerings into a system. The system was simple. We wouldn't even be creating content about these things. Instead, we would say, all right, we're going to run paid ads on Meta, so like Facebook and Instagram. They will be going into a landing page, right? They would read stuff about what we do, what the details are, and over here, which is really important, just one CTA. And that is book a call. And that would lead them to a meeting over a phone. Sorry, here. Sometimes it would be Zoom call. And this would be the entire funnel itself. Yes, we were targeting more bottom of the funnel because we just wanted to see the return on investment with the ads right away. But at least this way, you are building it in a way that you can generate some revenue, take that revenue, put it back into the system, and optimize excuse me, for the particular parts of the system. And what I recommend when you're building funnels, you're going to often see that they're not working very well at the first try that you do, which is completely natural and normal. Because even though you have domain expertise, you might not understand how things work very well from the point of the customer, right? So what you're going to do is something called testing. So if this is the A version of how things work, the B version would be, again, maybe you're going to run ads, same style, on Meta, so Facebook plus Instagram, and then you're going to send them to a form maybe directly instead of a landing page. And the same thing happens again. Maybe, and then you're going to do like a call at this stage. So what you have done is you have only changed one element of the entire system, and you're testing to see which one performs better. Every single thing has to stay the same. Because if you keep changing elements, you don't know what to attribute the success to. Therefore, what you're going to do is you're going to be just changing this part on this particular one. And you're going to see with the same amount of traffic that you're driving. So if 1,000 people are coming in here, and again, on this one, 1,000 needs to come here as well. It should be always divided to 50%, 50-50. And if you are receiving, let's say, 10 calls from this, but you're receiving, let's say, 18 calls, clearly this is a winner. Yet, if you're receiving something like 12 calls here and 11 calls here, I wouldn't necessarily call this a winner because there is not a significant difference, right? A significant difference on, the significance difference on the different, the calls that you receive on this one. So according to what Meta says directly on their documentation, you need to have a distinguishable difference, not just one or two, but it should be a higher amount, maybe by 20%, maybe 30%, maybe 40%, whatever. But something small is not really saying, oh, this is working better than the other. That doesn't necessarily mean it's true, but maybe someone just double clicked, maybe you weren't tracking it properly, maybe at that point of the season, people were just people like the color of like sunshine in your eye, whatever it is, but it's not enough for you to determine this is a winner. Now, another very important thing is when you're looking at the funnel at a very high level, you're going to see that right now you're looking at the results that we receive on this section, and we're trying to determine the quality of the funnel or effectiveness of the funnel from the results. The results will have to be measured extremely carefully. What I mean by that, if you are trying to say, oh, this is the amount of calls that I got from this particular funnel, and therefore this is the best, it might not work out very well. So the result of the funnel should be directly contributing to your goals. And the goal is not to really get on the phone calls with people. It's not the ultimate goal. It's one of the goals that takes you to your ultimate goal, but it's not the ultimate goal. The ultimate goal is to make a sale. So when you're trying to attribute the quality of your funnel, you should be always attributing to the ultimate result that you want. If this is getting you 20 calls and this is getting you only 5 calls, but this gets 1 conversion and this gets 0 conversion, I wouldn't necessarily say this is a winner. Matter of fact, I would not say this is a winner because it has no return on investment that you can track for. A return on investment should not be on the amount of calls that you receive. Yes, it does increase the likelihood of you converting a client or a lead, but it didn't happen yet. So you don't know if it's going to happen at all. Therefore, always make sure that you're trying to optimize and focus on the ultimate goal that you have. So that would be the ultimate way of building a funnel for a local business. Another thing that you must pay attention when you're building a funnel is the tracking part. Most of the people, when they're trying to do here, let's just delete this part. Most of the people, when they're doing tracking, they would just use super basic systems to say, oh, this is how many calls I got, therefore it must be working very well. But oftentimes you're going to see that Meta is not really giving you the correct data. And what do you do over there? What you do is you use two strategies that I've mentioned in my previous videos as well. Let's just put the funnel over here. So we have the ads, and then it goes to, let's say, a form. And then this is the part that is the calls. So when you are running ads and you're sending people to form, what Facebook gives you is something called, here, let's just put it like this. URL params. What that stands for is you would see oftentimes websites will have www.blah.com/ this is the part that this is the part that this is how Facebook builds it. FBCLID equals, and then there will be like a bunch of whatever number, and then slash, and then maybe UTM equals UTM campaign. Equals blah, 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 blah. So this particular part stands for which ad journey that person came from, which ad it came from. So you can you can directly reverse engineer which ones are working very well. So you could attribute it. And the remaining is, of course, your campaign name, your ad set name, and your ad name, or particular one that you can refer to. So what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to capture the URL params, split them into 1, 2, 3, which is like, let's say this is Facebook click ID, and this one is campaign, this one is the ad set, and then you can do the ad itself, and you're going to pass it along to the next stage. Because if you don't, at the end, when a person reaches this part, you're not going to know where they came from. You might think that it is attributing correctly, but there are things such as attribution windows that Facebook will track. Maybe in most of the cases, it's going to be 7 days. Sometimes you can increase it, but you will not know where they came from. So you can't really optimize the entire journey accordingly. This is one of the biggest problems of marketers. And in some cases, when you're using a big funnel where you have a lot of things at the top of it, where you're providing magnets such as PDFs, maybe you're providing extra information about something, a webinar, a seminar, you name them. If you don't attribute that where they came from, you will not know the next journey. When a person converts, you have to account for the entire journey that they took, not the last ad that they got converted at. So that's why it's very important to get your URL parameters, your attributions, and save them as you go. Now that we understand this anatomy, what we're going to do is we're going to understand how is it possible to get this data. 2 ways, as I mentioned. One, let's just put like here. Let's use here. Okay. One is going to be Pixel. The other is going to be Conversions API. Pixel is going to be connected to the Conversions API. They're interconnected, but in most cases, I mean all cases, this one is on the browser side, and this is going to be on the server side. A browser side one means when you're visiting the pages, in this case, let's say someone lands in your landing page that you have built for, this is going to trigger your pixel to be activated on that page. So that Facebook will receive the data of that person when they landed in that page, that they will be getting, which page they've visited, which buttons they've clicked, did they fill out any forms, etc. This is a super basic way to set this up. It's oftentimes not reliable just because you have the iOS 14.5 problems that you're going to face, which they will block you away from getting this information. Other than that, the JavaScript might not work very well, or Facebook may recognize something as a button, but it truly isn't. So you're going to run into all of those issues. But at least at a basic level, it's better to have this than nothing. So that's the browser side of things. And as soon as someone clicks ad blocker, this completely dies because it won't be able to track it anymore. And after iOS 14.5 release for the privacy, what Facebook did and all the other marketing platforms, social media platforms, they've created something called server-side tagging. So you would install this script in your code of the front end, and this script, Conversion API, will track every single thing. When a person comes in, it would still capture the Facebook click ID, browser ID as a cookie session, and it would take that data and it would keep sending it over via the servers that you've set up to Meta directly. So even though the browser is blocking that access at a front-end level, your code kind of tracks that person's journey and sends that information back all the time regardless. So it doesn't really matter if they're trying to block it at your front-facing level. And that is called the server-side tagging. The server-side is going to help you with, in combination, to send data back to Facebook or Instagram, but I'm using Facebook as a company, so I should say Meta really, to say, all right, this is what this person is doing. These are the actions that they're taking. Therefore, please bring me, get as much information as possible on this person, and please bring me more people like it. And this is going to be the main thing that is going to help you with your funnel. Because if you don't track this, Facebook will not know who you want, who is valuable for your business, and who are alike like that person. That is why when you have a funnel on the back end, you must set up your trackings properly. But essentially, if you have a funnel and you have these things set up, even if you don't have the server side, but you just have the browser side, you should still function very well, as opposed to someone who doesn't know how to set up funnels, who doesn't know how to set up tracking, who doesn't know how these things work. At least you will have a better performance on your ads. So going back and ensuring we have everything covered, the funnel, you're going to have, let's say, step 1, step 2, step 3, and step 1 starts with ads. Make sure that let's say step 2 is landing page or a form or something similar. And then third one is the outcome. Whether it's a call or email, whatever you want. And make sure that in between they are connected by tracking. Just by following this, I was able to start a company for an EDU marketplace. And I think it was just by end of April that we have started. Within 3 months, we reached $50,000. Just by following this, nothing else. I didn't even go talk to people, right? I took them, I generated the leads, I gave it to the companies who are able to build it, and most of them did a phenomenal job. This was the entire strategy that we followed. Just a basic funnel for a local service business. This will work in any kind of industry. anything that you can think of. And big companies are already using this, whether it's in HVAC, electricians, plumbers, construction companies, home cleaners, driveway builders, you name them. It will work on anything. You just have to understand that you need to have a proper offer, you need to have a proper funnel, and you're doing your tracking properly with attribution on the leads that you want, which is the converted ones really, not just the ones that who are interested in getting information. And this is exactly how you solve how to create funnels for local service businesses. If you're interested in building your own funnel, you can reach out to me. Or if you're interested in learning more on how this works, you can reach out directly as well. And this is what I do. I'm creating more content about helping businesses solve problems with tech. If you're interested to solve your problem, shoot it over. I might be solving yours in the next video. See you in the next one.